Media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Justin Trudeau. Oh boy, I don't know what is going through his skull. Maybe he's a little short-tempered because of Sophie Gregoire's Grifter's new book coming out, scathing their marriage, talking about mental health issues from the abuse of Justin Trudeau. But now today he has thrown a tantrum, a live on-air tantrum during a press conference, and we're going to get into that. But what was he doing a press conference for today? Well, it wasn't about building houses. It was about building something else, and something else that is completely unnecessary, I believe, in Canada. And I'm sure some people might have their gripes to chime in with that, but I want to get into what he was doing in Ontario today with wannabe Conservative Premier Doug Ford, as the feds and the province subsidize $15 billion to Honda EV assembly plants and battery facilities in Ontario. Now, this is an assembly line, so it's not strictly in regards to the battery plant that's being built in Windsor, where they're bringing in thousands of migrant workers, and again, not really benefiting the Canadian economy. But it says here that Honda will invest $15 billion in Canada to create and complete an electric vehicle supply chain, including 4 new manufacturing plants, with the help of approximately $5 billion from the federal and Ontario governments. The company made the announcement at an event in Alliston, Ontario, alongside Premier Doug Ford and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trudeau said Honda was picking Canada because of the established relationship, access to clean electricity, and critical minerals, but said it was mostly about people. No, it's about money. It's always about money. It's about the kickbacks. It's about the incentives. Don't be fooled by this very poorly put together word salad. Those are all part of the advantages of Canada, but the central part of my pitch, the biggest advantage that Canada has in drawing investments from all around the world, are Canadian workers who are the best in the world, he said. Is he referring to the overall workers that are working in construction? Because again, if you go back to the battery plant, I believe it was roughly 75 to 80% of the staff were hired outside foreign workers that were coming here to work. I'm curious how many will be on this assembly plant when it's completed. Now, if you want to argue over the use of electric vehicles, I've had a stance on those for quite some time, that they're essentially useless in Canada. If you live in the majority of Canada, that unlike places like Vancouver or Victoria, that see snow 6 to 7 months out of the year, well, the problem with an electric vehicle is that even at a full charge, you're only going to get about 60% of that battery worth. You can hear about the reliability stories that come from electric vehicles with batteries suddenly bursting into flames, and from what I've been told, are very difficult to put out for firefighters. You also have the reliability and retention of a 6-figure purchase of a very expensive, top-of-the-line quoted vehicle. Now, in places like California, Vancouver, Victoria, again, places where you don't see snow that often, if you're using it as a commuter car, if you're very well financially off, and you want to do something that you feel is going to save the environment, I guess this is the best way to go about it. But to me, it's nothing more than a publicity stunt by companies. These vehicles offer nothing, especially when places like California in their grid can't even handle the demand of people driving these vehicles. I don't know about you guys, but I'd prefer, even on a road trip, like to stop and get fuel and only take 10 minutes to stop versus, 2 hours to charge a vehicle. I know you can pay to get fast charges that take like 45 minutes, but still, every couple hours, you got to stop for 45 minutes. How is this sustainable? Doug Ford jumped in and said, since we've taken office close to 6 years ago, we have never ever raised taxes on businesses or people, and we have reduced the burden off the backs of businesses here in Ontario by $8 billion each year. And the deal is another example of two governments coming together to rebuild our economy, to create better jobs and bigger paychecks. And we're getting it done, he said. Again, how many foreign workers are coming to this plant? When you compare this to the EV battery plant that was going up, it really makes me question how many workers are Honda bringing from overseas, and are those paychecks and jobs being created to money that's going out of the country? You hear about that all the time, and it's not even a racial thing. It's a matter of people that come to Canada, make their money, send it back home, and then leave. How is that benefiting Canada? Honda CEO, of course, was on board, saying this plan is built upon the trusting relationship between Honda and the people of Canada, who have supported us for over 55 years. The highly skilled workforce and diverse people, there's the good old box-checking quote of Canada and the support of Canadian and Ontario governments, he said, as we aim to conduct our business with zero environmental impact. Canada is a very attractive business environment for Honda. Well, yeah, because of all the tax breaks and perks that they get by having a business in Canada. It has nothing to do with them feeling warm and fuzzy about themselves. They essentially just want to rip as much money out of this country as they can while securing all the benefits and paying less taxes. Now, as the press conference began to wrap up, was they were breaking it down. Now, again, the announcement isn't of any surprise, and we know how this Liberal government loves to spend, how they love to throw money out the window. But as it wrapped up, some things got a little suspicious, a little sus here in Ontario. Here we have Doug Ford. You can see son of a bench tweeting out, watch the thank you / congratulations at the end of the Honda press conference between Ford and Trudeau, then between Ford and the twitchy witch of the West, Crystia Freeland. What do you notice? And again, what do we notice about this? Here's the handshake. Here's a little bit of, hey, thanks a lot, Justin. And then Crystia goes, give me a hug. He says, yeah, no thanks. Hi, everybody. There's let's see that again. He's just kind of like, hey, I'll just touch you with my fat gut and move on. That's just make you think that I like you. I don't like you. I can't stand a damn thing about you, Miss. I'm sorry. I don't like breaking down in laughter during videos. It's just so funny that it's such a scuff in Crystia Freeland's direction. Just a complete dismissal. But then here's the good part, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the juicy bit. And here's what we're going to see. Good old friend of the channel, Andy Lee, tweeting out, after delivering a 5-minute non-answer word salad on how many jobs the $5 billion from taxpayers will create at Honda, Trudeau loses his cool and snaps at a reporter who points out that he never answered the question. This man is not well. And again, this was my question about the article. How many jobs in Canada will this create? Not jobs that you're bringing in from overseas, not money that's leaving the country. How is this going to benefit Canadians in any way, shape, or form? I'm going to apologize in advance for my laughter because, boy, he loses it. He absolutely loses it. Here we go.
This is generational. This is decades and decades down the road. What price do you put on that? There is no price you can put on that because we're investing into the people. The money is staying here in Ontario. It's not going overseas. It's not going down to the U.S. It's staying right here in Ontario for decades and generations to come.
So just to be clear, no one's willing to answer the question specifically. How many jobs are being created and what is the cost for the government deal?
If you're not going to listen to the answer of it saying 1,000 jobs created, then there's nothing we can do for you.
I mean, come on. There's nothing we can do for you. Here's the thing I like about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what's happening is you're starting to see the downward spiral of the government-paid socialist media prostitutes as they're coming out, they're starting to ask a little bit more questions. I've talked about Vashi over at CTV and how she's recently stepped up to start asking more questions out of politicians, not being afraid to ask those offensive questions to the Liberals. But you're starting to, and I know she's done that for a while, and she's starting to show more and more, but I'm talking about, and I don't know who asked this question, by the way, because there's no bit of that in this clip. It could have been an independent outlet, but what I'm seeing here is that people are starting to ask more questions in regards to the complete lack of connection the government has to Canada about the stupidity and level of stupidity over their decisions. And it's just so funny to see. I mean, let's hear it again. Guys, come on. We hate hearing Trudeau. Let's just watch him snapping.
Generations to come.
So just to be clear, no one's willing to answer the question specifically. How many jobs are being created and what is the cost for the government deal?
If you're not going to listen to the answer of it saying 1,000 jobs created, then there's nothing we can do for you.
He absolutely snapped. He's losing his temper. He's having a tantrum live on air because people don't want to get on board with his woke rhetoric anymore. They can't stand it. This is the downfall of Justin Trudeau. This is, again, I was talking about this before when I said, Jagmeet Singh went against the budget. He's obviously going to vote in favor of it, but he came out speaking about it. Pierre, poilievre, everybody else going to him after the budget. And when those things happen, when Jagmeet threatened the budget, when he said, I don't know if I can get on board with this, it starts bringing out the knives. And again, I've talked about it as a hydra eating its own heads. This is where you're going to see tensions mount, and you're going to start to see more of these things happen, because Justin Trudeau, as he talks about how bored he gets in his job, how fed up he is with how boring it is to be the Prime Minister of Canada. Well, he's starting to lose his patience, and it's starting to show. It's starting to show that he just can't deal with the criticism anymore. He can't go outside without getting heckled. He's holding a press conference in a car park, I might add, like in a garage, a parking garage, because he can't be outside. He can't go anywhere without getting heckled these days. It really, really must suck at the end of the day to be Justin Trudeau. In fact, anytime this man looks in the mirror, as much of a narcissist as he is, I bet he just looks in the mirror and says, boy, it just sucks being me. I can't. I can't see past it. It's just so funny, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think about his freak out down below in the comments. What do you think about the jobs that are going to come to Canada? Do you think we're going to see Canadian jobs? I certainly don't, especially with the word salad that they throw out in their answers. Again, we didn't see the word salad, thank God, because that's just a waste of time. But you can only imagine that if they don't want to answer questions like that, and if this reporter has to go to the extreme of asking, so no one's going to answer this, and Justin losing his mind, well, this obviously is a telling tale that no, we're not going to see any Canadian jobs, or at least a majority of Canadian jobs coming out of this plant. But again, leave me your comments down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. As you're hitting that button, sorry, I'm still laughing at Justin. As you hit that button, click your bell for notifications. Join us here on the channel tomorrow night and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific for Friday Night Fringe, where we talk about fun things like this, and we have a little bit of back and forth with our community, and hear what you guys have to say outside of making these videos. I bet my desk made a little smacking noise there. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you there, and it's always the highlight of my week to chat with you guys, and I look forward to having that stream tomorrow night and every Friday night here on the channel with each and every one of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. Oh, I'm laughing again. I'll catch you on the next one.